Hello, and welcome to the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Hannah Sutherland. I'm a lover of all things self-care, personal development, and spirituality. I have created this podcast to help you grow into the most soulful version of yourself while creating more joy, magic, and purpose in your everyday life. If you're ready to live a life so full, then you, my friend, have come to the right place. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and now let's dive deep. Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking all about Aries. It is officially Aries season today, and to me, this is so exciting because this is like the new year of the zodiac year, and personally, I think this should actually be our new year. It's the very start of spring, it's the start of the new zodiac season, and Aries is the first of the 12 zodiac signs. I'm going to be telling you all about Aries and everything you need to know about Aries as an energy if you have it in your chart, but also what the energy of Aries is like, because now that the sun is in Aries, this energy is illuminated within the atmosphere, within our lives, which is actually why this would make the perfect new year. I actually don't understand why our new year is in the middle of winter, because when you think about the energy of the seasons, spring is the beginning. Spring is like being born, it's the first phase, and winter is the end. So the fact that our new year is in the middle of winter just kind of absolutely boggles my brain, because if you were to start your new resolutions right now, the energy of Aries is way better for that. Although the energy of Capricorn is grounded and isn't the worst, I just think like the fact that it's starting to be nice outside and we're all getting so excited for summer, and I personally just feel like I'm way more likely to stick to doing new habits and things that you make for yourself in your resolutions when it's spring versus winter, because when it's winter, I just want to curl up in a ball and do nothing. I don't know if that's just me, but especially living somewhere that it's so cold in the winter. Like, for example, I can't wait to start running. I actually really love running, and I can't do that outside in the winter. I am way too much of a baby to run when it's really cold. I know some people do it, and absolutely props to you if that's you. You are literally a superstar. But anyway, I'm getting a little off topic, so this is the first episode of a whole entire series I will be doing throughout the year. The first day of every new season, I will be making an episode all about that energy, so stay tuned for the next 12 months because you will be getting more and more of these episodes. So let's dive in. First of all, Aries season takes place from March 21st to April 19th. So if you were born between these days, then your sun sign is in Aries. Although astrology is very complex, so you can have Aries in a lot of different places in your chart. Your moon could be in Aries, your rising sign could be Aries, you might have any of the planets in Aries, and you will most definitely have Aries in one house of your astrology houses, depending on what your rising sign is. If you want to know more about astrology, I did just release an episode yesterday, an introduction to astrology, so that could help you guys understand a little bit more about the houses and the planets and how all that stuff kind of works together. So happy birthday to all the Aries coming up here soon. My little sister is an Aries. I absolutely adore her. My youngest niece is an Aries, and I absolutely adore her. I have a lot of Aries energy around me in my life, and I love Aries. So we're going to talk about the energy of Aries and what it's all about. So to start off, Aries is a fire sign. And if you haven't listened to my episode about the elements, fire represents our soul. So this energy is very fiery. It can be impulsive, impatient, and incensored, and a little stubborn, but it's also very enthusiastic, positive, excited, passionate, and courageous. Aries do have a tendency to be dominant and can be quick to anger, although the anger tends to go as fast as it comes. Aries often make good leaders because they go after what they want and they protect the people that they love. And because of their focus on integrity, they tend to be quite trustworthy people. The Aries is represented by a ram. That is its symbol. So if you think about a ram, if you had a ram as a spirit animal, it would symbolize determination, power, and leadership. They do not fear failure, and they tend to run at things head first, full force ahead. And also the fact that it's a ram is a little bit of an analogy for their anger that sometimes come up for Aries, because when they're mad, they will charge. Aries are very passionate, and this has an effect on all of their emotions. So although it's not a water sign, which is emotions, because they are so passionate, they just feel their emotions so intensely. And knowing that about yourself as an Aries might help you to navigate some of the energy that comes up for you. Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is the planet of action, determination, and aggression, which gives us a little more insight to where the energy of Aries comes from. Aries is represented by the color red. It is a masculine energy, and the phrase for Aries is I am. It is a cardinal sign, and the cardinal signs are referred to as leaders and trendsetters. And they are really good with new beginnings. They can tolerate change. And that is part of what makes them such great leaders, because they are able to adapt and change when necessary. So when it comes to the energy of Aries, there is always a power and a shadow side to every energy, right? Every energy is going to have its ups and downs. No energy is just perfect. We live in a world with duality, and if we didn't have the power and the shadow sides of all these energies, we wouldn't be able to experience the duality that we do on Earth in order to learn all the things that we are here to learn. So for Aries power, it is pioneering, being bold, passionate, assertive, and direct. But the shadow side of Aries is that they can be a little selfish, impatient, frustrated, impulsive, and they can be aggressive or quick to anger. If your sun is in Aries, you have Aries as a sun sign, then this energy is illuminated within you, and people find this to be a bright and exciting part of who you are. And that is if your birthday falls between March 21st and April 19th. If your moon is in Aries, and then you feel this energy deep inside. Your moon sign represents your innermost feelings, your very inner world. And it might be a part of yourself that you don't share with people except for the ones that are absolutely closest to you. And in order to figure out if Aries is your moon sign, you have to know the date, time, and location that you were born. The moon moves into a new sign every 2.5 days, so you might luck out, and if it was Aries moon the entire day you were born, you just automatically know that you have an Aries moon. However, if you were born on a day that the moon was changing into a new sign, you will have to know the time in order to calculate which moon you have. Because if that was the case, it would be Aries or Taurus or Pisces. So for an Aries rising sign, if the Aries was at the easternmost horizon at the moment you were born, then Aries is your rising sign, and also is in your first house of astrology. So to the outside world, you may come off as brave, opinionated, and independent. Your presence is powerful and commanding, and you may intimidate people. Your instincts are usually quite spot on. And the first house itself represents our self-ego, identity, and appearance. It's how other people see us. And it is actually similar to the energy of Aries, which is pretty cool. So if you have an Aries rising sign, you're actually kind of lucky, I think, because all of the energies in the houses then align for you, because the energy of the first house is like Aries, the second house is like Taurus, the third house is like Gemini, and so on. And you would have all those energies in those houses. So I think that is pretty cool if you have Aries rising. When the sun is in Aries, not only is it affect the people that are being born in their charts, but it also illuminates a certain energy for all of us. If you think about the sun, sun's job is to illuminate or bring to light, and it's bringing to light this energy. So all of the energy that I just talked about, that may be traits within, well, let's be honest, every single one of us has Aries energy in us. Even if you don't have it as one of your big three or any planets in Aries, Aries will be in one of your houses. So the energy of that house will be illuminated. So for example, I have Aries in the 7th house. And the 7th house is about marriage and partnerships, contracts, sharing, equity, business deals, unions, that kind of thing, 50-50 relationship. So for me, this aspect of my life is more illuminated. And I also have Jupiter in Aries. So the energy of Jupiter is also going to be lit up for me. And Jupiter is the planet of luck, fortune, and spirituality. And so that is something that you can look into in your chart to see maybe where you want to focus some more attention to, because it is a good energy in the atmosphere to work on those parts of yourself and your energy. This is also why I think it would be the most amazing time for this to be the new year and not January 1st, or make this the first of the year. But it's because it is the start of the spring season, and it's all about new beginnings, new ideas, new identities. Aries is the babies of the zodiac signs, and it is giving the energy for a time to have a fresh start and to be the person that you have grown to be over the whole past year of the whole zodiac cycle that we have just gone through. And that's why I love Aries season, because you know, it's a fresh start, and you can think about going back through your entire year from this point on, because we go through every single energy within a year. And if you think about how much your life can change in a year, it's actually crazy. If you think back to last year, what you were doing, sometimes a year it may feel like nothing changes, but then sometimes a year you feel like you're living a totally different life. And when we can take the time to look back and reflect, and maybe we see where we have grown, and maybe we also can see some new places that we would like to continue to grow, and just set those intentions, because it is a time for a new beginning. And we're going to go back through this whole cycle again for the next whole year. So happy New Year, because if you didn't stick to your New Year's resolutions, we're just going to pretend the first 3 months of 2024 didn't even happen, and we're starting over again. If you want to join my petition to make this the new year, please shoot me a message, because I actually think it would be so beneficial if we lived by these energies and lived by the moon versus living by this calendar that dictates our life, and some of it doesn't even make sense. So now moving on to the moon. The moon is in Aries every 28 days-ish, and the moon, because the moon moves into a new sign every 2.5 days, it will cycle through all of the 12 zodiac signs in about 28 to 30 days. The moon affects our emotions. If you think about the fact that the moon has an effect on water, right? The moon controls the tides and things like that. And when we think about how water represents our emotions, right? Even when it comes to the water signs, those are the ones that are emotional or very intuitive, very emotionally intelligent. We as humans ourselves are made up of about 60% water. And if you think about how much of an effect the moon has on water, it is also having an effect on us. So the moon will be in Aries once a month-ish, and it will stay in that energy for about 2.5 days. When the moon is in Aries, we might be feeling fiery, passionate, aggressive, impatient, enthusiastic, and dominant. You might feel like you are ready to tackle whatever obstacle is in front of you. So when the moon is in Aries, it is good to do things that are courageous and maybe to work towards something that you're passionate about. So if you want, personally, when I write out my calendar for the month, I will look up the moon signs to track the energy of the moon, and I just write the energy at the bottom of my little square. And if you're planning things, you can use this energy to your advantage. So if the energy is in Aries, maybe you want to plan to work on a big project that you're really into that day. Maybe there is something you need to do that you need a little extra courage to do it. That would be a good day to do that. But things that you might want to avoid when the moon is in Aries is starting a fight, being too dominant or impulsive, and overreacting to people and situations. So using this energy to your advantage, and also understanding the disadvantage, or maybe if you snap on somebody because you're feeling overwhelmed and then you realize, oh, the moon's in Aries, no wonder I was feeling so aggressive today. I don't usually feel that way, and it was out of character for me to act that way. Maybe that is part of it. So this is Aries. Aries is, I like all the zodiac signs, if I'm being honest. I really get along with Aries. I have a Libra rising, which Libra is the opposite to Aries. So Libra and Aries energy very much complement each other. And so if you are an Aries, you would be well suited with a Libra. I actually think it's the cutest thing ever because my younger sister is an Aries, and she has a Libra moon and a Virgo rising, and her fiance is an Aries, and he has I believe a Virgo moon and an Aries rising. And so they have the same big three though, and the two of them are such peas in a pod. It's just, honestly, I love watching them interact with each other, and they just truly were made for each other. So I think that it's really cool to see that. And yes, so if you have anyone in your life that's an Aries, don't forget that their birthday is coming up soon, and maybe take an extra moment to tell them how much you appreciate them and who they are, and that you love how fiery and passionate and driven and courageous that they are, because the world wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for Aries, and we wouldn't really be able to do it without them. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Next up will be Taurus, and that will be coming to you in April. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye! Thank you so much for tuning in today and making soulful self-development possible. I am grateful for each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Stay tuned for new episodes coming out every Wednesday. You can connect with me on social media at soulful.self.development. I would absolutely love to hear from you. You guys make my heart so full. See you next time.